Decades of conflict in the ancient Holy Land have brought fear and frustration to young Palestinians and Israelis. The barrier separating Israel from the Palestinians of the West Bank divides people and worldviews. Young people on both sides are being denied a peaceful future, but learning to see other people's perspectives could be a path to hope. The conflict has complex roots that go back centuries, but a brief look at the recent past can help us understand more about the Holy Land today. It is a place where events are understood very differently by different communities. After the First World War, Britain was given control over the area known as Mandatory Palestine. This included the city of Jerusalem, sacred to Christians, Jews, and Muslims. Jewish and Palestinian movements both demanded independence from the British, sometimes using violence. With the Second World War came the Holocaust, the Nazis' mass persecution of Jews that left over 6 million dead. Hundreds of thousands of Jewish refugees needed a safe place to go. Many looked to the Holy Land. After the war, the United Nations proposed a plan to split Mandatory Jerusalem into a Jewish state and an Arab state. Arab leaders across the region rejected the plan. So, when the new Jewish state of Israel was declared, war broke out with neighboring countries, all of them Arab nations. Israel gained control of more than 3/4 of the territory. While Israelis call this the War of Independence, Palestinians call it the Nakba, the catastrophe. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were forced to flee Israeli-controlled areas, and today there are over 5.6 million Palestinian refugees. Over the decades, violence regularly flared. During the Six-Day War in 1967, Israel occupied Palestinian territory in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem and the Gaza Strip. Under international law, occupation must be temporary, yet it has now lasted more than 50 years. After many international attempts at peace, hopes for a just deal are fading. Palestinians endure high poverty levels and the ever-present fear of violence. They are denied the right to determine their own future. While Israelis have a state, they too live under constant fear of violence. No one wins.